Welcome back to What to Drink Before You Die. And today, surprise, surprise, we're back in Burgundy. At the sake of being predictable. You all know by now that I adore Burgundy, and I always have. But today is something that I think is a little bit more on the underrated side. And it's the Vigne de l'Enfant Jésus from Bouchard Père Fils. When I asked Luke why it's called the Vines of the Baby Jesus, he said to me, because it tastes like the baby Jesus in velvet pants. I think I know what he meant, but let's just chalk that one up to lost in translation. It is probably a reference to this super weird picture of a little man-child Jesus-y figure in a really funky, 60s robe. Anyway, don't let all of that fool you. This is truly one of the greatest wines of Burgundy. Problem is, it's in Beaune, and Beaune gets no flowers, man. Like all the other appellations, Chambol, Gevrey, Vaughan, Volnay, everyone's so cool and so popular, but poor old Beaune, because probably, as stupid as it sounds, it just happens to be kind of hidden by the city of Beaune. When you're driving up the RN74 and you look over, you don't see any vineyards because they're kind of tucked behind the only real town or village or city in the region. So it's just never on your mind. But to be honest, of all of my tasting and experiences in Burgundy with winemakers and everything, some of the oldest and best Burgundies that I've ever had are in fact from Beaune. The Vigne de l'Enfant Jésus happens to be in my favorite appellation of Beaune, probably also the greatest, Beaune Grèves, known for its sort of more gravelly soils, which differentiate it from a lot more of the sandier or clay-based soils around it. And some of the craziest viticulture is also here. I remember the first time I saw Nicolas Potel's Beaune Grèves vineyards, which are also immaculate, by the way. He showed me some of these rows aren't, if you look, actually different vines, but one vine that continues down the whole row. Because back then, it's like an ultra selection massal. It's not just taking clippings from one vine or the best vine. It's literally like propagating the vine back into the ground and then letting it sort of grow and then doing that in almost serpentine style. I mean, that is wacko. No one has done that for probably over 100 years, but you can still see it here in Beaune. Some of the most old school, historical, traditional winemaking, creating this altogether unique, rustic, burly, sort of angular style of Burgundy, which you don't really see that often, maybe outside of a Red Sassagna or maybe a Pommard. But these wines are complex, they're deep, they can also be incredibly charming, but they're also built for the long haul. This is only a 2001. At 25 years old now, it's starting to pop, man. It's like, stick and move, stick and move. By no means is it old. It has got a ton of gas left in the tank. But even if you are a Burgundy aficionado, what you probably mostly overlook is this appellation. And I'll tell you, if you go treasure hunting, you are going to find some of the coolest wines of the coast. And if you really want a super Burgundian experience, grab one of these or a Clos des Ursouls from Jadot or something like that, and get yourself one of the local delicacies, a Jésus de Lyon, this crazy smoke-dried sausage in like a net thing. Grab one of those, carve it up, pop a bottle of this, and you will be saying, "Hallelujah, baby Jesus." Today's sermon has been brought to you by What to Drink Before You Pass. We'll see you next week on What to Drink Before You Die.